Hi viewers, welcome to the video on trading for living. Myself Brijesh Bhatia here, research analyst and editor at Equity Master. So for someone, trading for living is just a thought, and for someone it's a dream. And to achieve those dreams, you need some of the footsteps to follow. And so all the roads leading to your successful completion of trading for living, it's not an easy task. So in this video we'll be covering most of the checklist, what I think that it is must you should think about before taking a decision on trading for living, and some of the parameters which I follow on my trading journey, and I'll be sharing those. So let's look at the first checklist. And if you look at the screen, so I have put some questions for you, and I would request pause this video, take a paper, take a pen, write down these answers on a paper, and I would request everyone review those answers again after you complete this video. So first, look at what are the fund size or the capital which you have to start your journey of trading for living. Second is your monthly commitments, which means that your monthly home loans, any other EMIs, your monthly expenses of your family, XYZ. So these are the monthly commitments. I request write it down on a paper, because that will play a key role when you start your trading for journey, because that are necessary part of your expenses which are fixed. I'm not talking about the variables which are coming into the month in and out, but these are the fixed costs which I'm trying to note it down, which are your monthly commitments. Third is, do you have a future commitment like your marriage, your children's marriage, your children's education, any sort of. So write it down, those amounts which you are planning 1 year down the line, 2 year down the line, 3 year down the line, 5 down the line. And this will again, because you need those corpus to come up so that you can pay those amount. Next is what are your expectation, or I would say returns on monthly basis, because when you jot down your monthly commitments to pay, you certainly need those income to come from. And that's the reason I'm asking you to write your commitment, so that you know what are my targets I have to achieve to mitigate those fixed expenses. Next is, do you know what is risk management, or what type of risk you are taking into your life by taking a decision of trading for living. And I will be discussing some of the risk parameters which I follow in my trading life as well. So we'll be discussing in the end. And do you have a trading strategy, which means that have you thought what you will be working on derivative side, on technical side, on fundamental side, anything? Because if you don't have trading strategy in place, it is very difficult. And if you have trading place strategy in place, believe me, your journey from a trading for living start to a successful trader is shortened down if you have a trading strategy in place. And this is very much important, and how you can do it, we'll discuss it in the future video. Yeah. So for me, these are the three parameters on your screen. First, psychology, which plays a key role. That's the reason I've asked you to jot down the questions and answers. Second is market analysis or trading systems, which I have said you. Third is money management, and these three pillars are very much important. If any of your pillar is not proper, then your journey to successful trader will be a slightly blurry. So believe me, these three parameters will be a key role for you to decide your journey to a successful trader. So let's start with psychology first. So if I look at the psychology, for psychology, first is be realistic. So in case, for me, be realistic is means, say you have started your journey as a employee somewhere. Okay, say end of the year you started your journey with 10,000 rupees as a first salary. Okay, started as a journey as my first salary will be 10,000. So if I just look at the annually, it's around 1,20,000. So are you expecting that the second year your salary will be 2,40,000, which is double, 20,000 per month? Certainly not, because it goes gradually. So from 10 to, you we might go to 20% hike, or 10% hike, 15% hike. You certainly be not be a double 20%. So be realistic on your expectations when you are entering into a market, because every month, every year you can't double your money. See, there can be a blue moon phase where you are doubling a money in 6 months time, but consistency of that multiplying every 6 months is not will not happen regularly. So be realistic on your approach on what are your expectations, how much money you are starting with. So if you are starting with say 5 lakhs and you are expecting your monthly income of 1 lakh rupees, which is 20% every month, not possible. So for that 20%, if you are making every month, so every 5 months, 6 months, you are doubling your money. So which is not possible. So be realistic in your approach. Think what are your monthly commitments, what are your monthly income do you want to mitigate those, and think, do this capital will be able to pay those commitments which I have on a monthly basis. What are your lifestyles, standard of living? So your monthly expenses say around 8,000, so you have a low standard of living. If your monthly expenses is around 30,000 rupees, it might be on a staying in a metro and be a mid-size commitment, so you have a commitment of around 70,000-80,000 rupees a month, so your standard of living slightly on a higher side. So your standard of living, you are doing parties on weekends, so that all expenses at end of the month your commitments. So your standard of living here matters. Any unexpected urgency of fund, do you have those? So in case you have a parents at home, and what if unfortunately there is a medical expenses, do you have those funds to pay? And that is very much important. So all the other things to have to be in mind, and be realistic with your returns on those. Your capital to start with will really depend on those commitments you are trying to earn from it. Second is trading journal, and this has played me a major role in my trading journey. So as a part time, when you are doing a part time trading, write your trades, write, be in Excel or be in a paper, write a reason why do you take trade, write a reason why you're exiting the trade. Okay, why? Because there might be 100 trades of your which might be around 60% in a profit, 40% in a loss, and out of that 60% you made say around 7% on an average, and on a loss you're making around 10% on an average. So at the end of the month or end of the 100 trades, you might be slightly higher or slightly lower, not a bigger amount or a smaller amount. So here this will play an important role. So trading journal, the reason I'm saying you is because if you mention your trading journal and your reasons why you bought the trade, why you sold the trade, will play a key role, because it will really help you to find your good trades, find your bad trades, to fine tune your strategies, and this will play and review it on a regular basis, be on a weekly, be on a monthly, be on a fortnightly, whatever you want, but review it, because it will really help you that the trades which you are taking is giving me a good profits, the trades which you have booked losses, the problems with those entries, those setups, you can mitigate those, and the things that the systems which are not working for you, you can skip that. So sometimes learning and unlearning both plays a key role over here. And do you find consistency? This is very much important, because when you start finding consistency, be a smaller profit, be a larger profits, these will play a key important role, because your corpus is building up. So if you're starting with 10 lakhs, and even though you are making say 1.5-2% a month, but those 2% of consistency return, it might add some corpus. Okay, next is exit plan. So do you have exit plan, which means in a trading journey it's a stop loss. Okay, and disciplinary following the stop loss will really help you, because I'm being a key reversal trader. For me, if I'm not maintaining a stop losses, there the trade might go in a deeper losses. So here when you're playing a reversal, your risk to reward is slightly on a higher side, but that could only be on a higher side if you are following your stop losses, your exit plans. So in case you stop loss is gone, exit it out. Similarly, say if you're not following a stop loss, you're taking 10,000, say you have it started with 10 lakh rupees and you're taking a capital of wipe off of 5 lakh rupees, so you're 50% down. So to come to that break even, come to that profit journey is being a slightly difficult phase. And again, your psychology plays a key important role, because to take a new trade, you will think twice, thrice, before taking a trade, and sometimes you miss those good trades even though your setups are strong, but here your stop losses are not there, which is a key part of money management we will be covering in the later part of this video. Don't count off money. So if you are making a good profits, don't count on it, try to write it out. So I will explain a averaging and pyramiding theory. So I always do pyramiding theory, I don't follow averaging theory. Why? Because take an example, if we bought 25% at 100, 25% at 90, 25% at 80, 25% at 70. So when your last lot of 70 is bought, okay, your 4 25 25 25% average will be around 85 rupees. Now think that price is trading at 70 rupees, your average price is 85 rupees. So you have to go 20% higher to just a break even. Forget about the profits. It's for a break even, you have to go slightly on a higher side. Now look at an example of pyramiding. So you bought 25% at 100, 25% 110, 25% 120, 25% 130. And if I just follow the theory of pyramiding, so my last lot which is bought at 130 over here, and my average price is around 115. So at 130, when my prices are 130, at 115 I am already into the profit. So here the pyramiding, and remember the psychology over here, when you are averaging out, you are already into a loss. The psychology of pyramiding, you are already into the profits. So your confidence level is slightly on a higher side when you're doing pyramiding. So pyramiding has always helped me in my trading journey. So I never do an averaging or add up into the loss trades. Next is market analysis and trading systems. So as I said, when you are doing part-time, try to build your trading systems, try to find your trading system. So your journey between starting a trading for living to a successful trader is shortened down. So here theoretical versus practical. So you have been hearing from many of them that trend is your friend, buy low, sell high, let your profit runs. Okay, these are good on books. How do you implement that? Okay, so anyone can say I run my profits, but how is that is important. So as a practical aspect, you have to define your trading systems, be a reversal, be a continuation, be a moving average, anything. So I have just indicated some indicator, rule your systems, so you can define your system. So I have just go through some of the rules on this. My three rules, three chart screen. So I'll be sharing my three chart screen which I follow, which is very much important. And know your risk before trading. Okay, so before trading, which means before you enter. So I know if I am taking a bet, I have a stop loss in place. So in case if you are how I follow my risk, I'll just discuss in with you on when we do money management. So these are the key aspects you have to think in mind. Price action defines everything. As I said, averaging, when you're doing last lot buying at 70 rupees and your average is 85. So if price goes 20% higher or more than 20% higher, then you will be at a break even. So for you to make a profit, the stock has or index has or any asset class you are trading has to go more than 20% higher to start your profits. But at the same time, when you're doing pyramiding, you are already running into the profit. So price defines everything over here. Our psychology will also be depend on price actions. Your trading system will also depend on price action. Indicator which should rule your system. So I have defined some of the 2-3 examples you can add. Moving average are there, MACD, these are some technical indicators, directional indicator which really help you. So these are some indicators I have mentioned, you can do your own. This is my 3 chart screen. Okay, so let's start with the left hand side. First, if you look at the weekly, look at the trend which is starting from weekly. It's slightly going higher after a steep fall, and we are witnessing a V-shaped recovery. So your weekly is going higher and higher. Daily is supporting with the momentum trend, but if you look at the daily, the middle chart, it's been consolidating in a phase. Okay, so still if you look at the weekly, it has not changed its trend. It is moving higher. If you look at the lows, are moving higher and higher, and the daily is slightly consolidating. Now if you look at the third chart, which is the intraday, which is mentioned on your screen, if you look at that, it has given a breakout, and again that is more convincing. So if your weekly chart is indicating bullish trend, daily is consolidating into a bullish trend, intraday charts are giving a huge breakout. So this is very much important for you to look at those screen, and when the breakouts are there, the 3 charts are into a sync: weekly bullish trend, daily bullish trend, and intraday giving you a fresh breakout. So these are into a sync for me, so it's a good buy setup. So I'll take a long bet. Similarly for bearish also you can do those. Third important pillar for me is money management. And if your first psychology be you trading algos, you remove your psychology part, emotions are taken out into algos. Trading system, you developed amazing trading system which is giving you good percentage returns. You back tested those trading system, you have been practicing those trading system when we are trading one lot or probably 10,000 rupees of stock, and that trading system was working amazing. But when you start from 10,000 rupees or one lot to three lots to five lots, your psychology will definitely change because your M2M is profit and loss are slightly on a bigger tick size. Now look at the money management. So I follow this three rule, my 1 2 3 rule. First is survive. Okay, so for survive, which means that protect your capital. Okay, stop loss over here is very much important and it will play a key role. Okay, so when you are maintaining a stop loss is you're minimizing your risk, you're protecting your capital. Okay, after protect or survive, the second step is consistent return. As I said, even if you're starting with smaller profits, but it is giving you consistent return, you are managing to get some corpus for you. And when you get that corpus, your confidence slightly builds up. So when you go from 10 lakhs to 11 lakhs, starting with 10 lakhs and you go to 11 lakhs or 12 lakhs or 13 lakhs, your corpus fund, you are into a profit, so your confidence is slightly build up. At the same time, if you go from 10 lakhs to 7 lakhs, your confidence slightly on the lower side. You think twice, thrice to take a trades. So here, money management for me, first survive, protect your capital, make a strategy which can protect your capital. Make consistent returns, smaller returns are okay, but it should be a consistent. Third is leap. After making consistent return, you have a slightly corpus. Say for me, if I'm taking a 10 lakh of capital and I do 1 lakh rupees per trade, a risk of 1% on 1 lakh capital. So which means 10% on 1 lakh capital. So which means 10,000. And if I take 10,000 of 10 lakhs, it's 1%. So if simultaneously, if I have a corpus of 10 lakhs to 12 lakhs now, I have a cushion for more 2,000 rupees. Even I can take 15,000 because I'm playing from that capital earned, profit earned. So here you have an opportunity after a consistent return when your corpus is made. You can take a leap or slight. What does this leap mean? That I'm taking slightly higher risk trade where I'm expecting that the profits could slightly a bigger. Even the stop loss is slightly more with ahead of my protective capital which I used to do of 1%. I might take a risk of around 2% because here I'm playing out of corpus, not of my capital which is lost. I can't do this leap when I'm already running into a losses. So when I'm into a corpus, I can take this risk of taking a leap. So this will play a key important role because when your 8-10 trades or 15 trades probably in 2 quarters or probably in 1 year will give you a good returns into a leap. So I just try to find out those trades where after a corpus is built up or consistent return stage, I am after the consistent return, and it will really help you because your 2-3 trades of leap will really give you a good corpus plus a confidence to one. So there are three techniques which I use on money management. First is percentage exit. What does this mean? So as I said, if I'm starting with 10 lakhs of corpus and I'm taking 10% per trade, so I'm taking 1 lakh rupees stock. So 10% allocation is done per trade. On that 10% allocation, I'm taking a risk of 10% per trade. Okay, so of 1 lakh, I'm taking a bet risk of 10,000 rupees. So if you just look at that, 10,000 rupees on 10 lakhs is just a 1%. Okay, so here my percentage exits play a key role. So I know if my trading system is so bad that my 100 trades will go wrong, there is something wrong into my trading system. Okay, so for to wipe off my whole 10 lakh capitals, I have to go 100 times wrong consistently to wipe off my capital. Okay, so that's the conservative approach I'm starting with. Then again, as I said, my 1 2 3 rule, I will do consistent return then leave. So here percentage exits first is my first technique which I follow. Second is time exits. So in case I have bought a trade on 1st of December or 1st, okay, and by 10th of December the stock is hovering in the same range, 1% up, 2% up, 1% down, 2% down, not moving as per my expectation, but at the same time market is moving. You might think that array market is moving, my stock is not working. what you should do. And other stocks, if you look at, even there are on your radar or as per your trading system, you are missing because you have allocated a capital to this that stock. So what I will do, time exit means that I will exit that stock, switch on to the better opportunity. Third is volatility exit. What does volatility exit means? So in case I have bought an XYZ stock and say that company is possibly announcing the result day after tomorrow, quarterly results, or there is a court case which can change the momentum of the stock. But if the news is not in my favor of the trade which I have done, so here the gap down opening risk is, or gap up opening risk is slightly on a higher side, so which could be 1% away from my stop loss, 3%, 5%, I don't know. So what I'll do, I to avoid the such kind of risk, I will don't not trade because the volatility is likely to increase due to some of the uh, corporate action going to happen on that stock. So I'll ignore the stock and I will exit it out before these consequences occur. So that are the three techniques which I follow into my money management risk. So just a summary: psychology plays a key role. Be realistic, trade journal, stop loss or exit plan, and don't count on money, which is averaging and pyramiding strategy, which I have shown you. Market analysis, theoretical versus practical. Price action defines everything. Indicator which rule your system, define your trading system, and money management, my 1 2 3 rule, and money management techniques. Thank you. Do not forget to subscribe to my email newsletters, Fast Profits Daily, and get a free guide on how to trade markets like pro. Thank you.